In this lecture, we will discuss about the third function, that is protect. As we discussed earlier, P in ZIP-DRR stands for protect. So third function over here is protect. Let us understand which categories fall under the protect function. Here we have total 5 categories. First category requires that a structure process should be implemented for physical and logical access controls. Second category requires providing cybersecurity awareness and training to the employees. Third category requires that a structure process should be implemented to ensure CIA of the information. Fourth category requires that a structure process should be implemented to ensure CIA of hardware and the software. And last, that is the fifth category, requires that a structure process should be implemented to ensure resilient technology infrastructure. We will discuss how to implement each of the above category in our subsequent slides. Let us now discuss about the first category, that is identity, authentication and access control. Here we have total 6 subcategories. We will discuss in detail how to implement each one of these. First subcategory requires that identities and credentials for authorized users, services and hardware are managed by the organization. To implement this, what you need to do is to establish a comprehensive identity and access management policy. It should include guidelines for creating the identity, maintaining and retiring the user identities and credentials. You may like to refer clause 10 of our cybersecurity policy to understand the well-defined identity and access management procedure. You may like to use the same template and modify according to your requirement. Second subcategory requires that identities are proofed and bound to the credentials based on the context of the interactions. Now what is this? Identity proofing involves the verification of the authenticity of the identity of an individual before granting the access. To implement this, what you need to do is ensure that user enrollment is based on verification of some government issued identity credentials. Also, please ensure no credential sharing so that each individual is accountable for his credentials. Also, you need to log and monitor the user activities based on different factors like location, device, time of the day, and the user behavior. Third subcategory requires users, services, and hardware are authenticated. To implement this, you need to ensure that access to the data and system should be allowed only on the basis of some authentication. It may be password, pins, biometric authentication, or any other similar authenticator. Implement network access control to ensure that only authenticated devices can connect to the network. NAC is the most effective way to enforce the security policies. It helps in validating the user credentials by verifying the identity of the person trying to connect. It also checks the device security postures and ensure that the device meets the security requirements like updated antivirus, proper firewall setting, or any other latest software patches. It also helps to control the access based on from where the user is connecting, whether public Wi-Fi or maybe office Wi-Fi or any other network. So, NAC is the most important element to ensure user authentication as well as device authentication. Use MAC address. MAC is Media Access Control for network devices. A MAC address is a unique number assigned to each device. In MAC address filtering, the network administrator creates a list of allowed MAC addresses, and only those devices will be allowed to connect. Fourth subcategory requires identity assertions are protected, conveyed, and verified. Identity assertion is the process of verifying that a specific identity, maybe a user or a system, is genuine and authorized to perform certain actions. It is primarily used in single sign-on sessions and federated identity management system. So to implement this, what you need to do is ask your IT team to encrypt the identity assertions that may be stored in your database or other system. Follow industry best practices for generation, protection, and verification of identity assertions. Fifth subcategory is about access permissions, list privilege, and separation of duties. What you need to do is ensure that users have the minimum level of access necessary to perform their job functions. Perform user access review at periodic intervals. Implement segregation of duties to prevent conflicts of interest and reduce the risk of fraud or error. Any critical transaction to be validated by two persons. Sixth subcategory is about physical access control. What you need to do is to develop a physical access control policy, get the same implemented, and ensure to conduct regular reviews and audit of your physical access control procedures. You may like to refer our template 6, that is physical access control policy, to understand how to draft a physical access control policy. You may like to use the same template for your organization. That's all for this lecture. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the second category of the protect, that is awareness and training. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video and want to have complete access to our CSF 2.0 course, please do check the link available at the description.